we can do that. Love you. Yep. Hello. Hello. Come on in, everybody. Booga booga. Hello. Come on in. Come on in. Hello. Watching you at my mom's place while eating grilled cheese. Hello, everybody. Come on in. Hello. Bit quiet. Oh, am I a bit quiet? Hold on. That's the right microphone. Then it's probably just because like I'm not projecting my voice today, so I'll probably like have to drag it up a little bit. Needs love. I'm glad you're planning a tabletop. Glad you're planning a campaign for Pathfinder. It's good to see that you have a group to play with. So what's on the menu today? Just some things that have been on my mind with the recent videos and such. And like what's been going on with like Yarrick and all the stuff and just stuff I've been seeing in friends communities and just getting it out of my brain more often than not. Don't expect like the most comprehensive chat out of me today because I've been yeah, like, come on in, everybody. Come chat, come hang out. And no having to be Gilliam into his scribe/remembrancers. Oh, chat, you have not seen me have a full Gilliam crash out. It's not about, like, Yark coming back. It's a lot of the things that, like, it's re-sparked a lot of discussion, and I can tell a lot of the people talking about it. How do I put this? Also, as a newcomer to 40k, love Salamanders. Where should I start? The Salamanders Omnibus is honestly going to be your best spot. It gives you pretty much everything you need to know about them. Is one coming? That depends on what happens. we genuinely want to avoid a Gilliman crash out if you catch my my common cold. But I can tell you for this stream, no, we're not doing a Gilliman crash out today. It's just me wanting to do basically a chat. Scarface. There's also the Badab War books, which have the Salamanders in it. It does go into like their company organization at around that time, if you're interested, along with the character Brayarth Ashmantle. But your best bet to find anything Salamanders related is the Space Marines Codex. Yeah, it's been very tiring on my front too there, Will. We're just waiting for a few more people to come in. Oh yeah, Scarface. There's also the Salamanders books for Horus Heresy. I don't personally enjoy them. I do find them boring, but So please do not take my personal opinion about their books and the Horus Heresy as your opinion. Please read them for yourself. Come to your own conclusion. Hey, what's the deal if you go over 30k subs asking for no reason? Barely coherent. The more people ask, the more I push it back. We get there when we get there. I have like 2 other videos that I need to get done before I even touch that, and I need to get money first because I'm broke. What specific books/books can I read to learn more about the Lamenters? Well, that's when I look it up. Because the only spot they've had books that I know about is Badab War. They appear in the novel Dante in chapter 11. You'll have to find the Imperial Armor volumes if you want to read anything about them. No, really, I don't know what it is. Oh, I promised to look at Honey Pop 2, because there's a joke that there's a joke review where I looked at Honey Pop 1, and 30k, I promised to look at Honey Pop 2. They slap hard. Hope they redo the rest of the range. Oh, the model ranges right now that need a refresh are Grey Knights. Definitely need a refresh. I was just watching Froggy PhD's stream, and her and the 3 others. Well, not Froggy, because Froggy's a fellow heretic like me. But the 3 other people they were streaming with, they love Grey Knights, and the Grey Knights really do need a model, really do need a range refresh. Got it. Any specific ones? I got nothing for you. Miss my old Thousand Sons army sometimes. Why do you miss them? Also, what exactly is 30k? Is that a previous edition, or is it... 30k is the Horus Heresy era for Warhammer. So we have 2 timelines here. Well, 2 different, 2 places in history in 40k. There's modern 40k, and then there's the Horus Heresy era, which is 30k. 30k encompasses the entirety of the Horus Heresy, which was a 14-year civil war between the Emperor and his favorite son, Horus. And it's basically like the founding myth of the modern Imperium. They did have a range intense, but since no one was buying it, why keep making it? Think prequels in the original trilogy. Yes, but the Horus Heresy is actually good. That's fair, old school. All right, let's talk about what's been on my mind a lot lately. So there's been a lot of discussion with the Imperial Guard, 40k's consistency with writing, Yark coming back, and all this kind of stuff that's been driving a lot of already debunked rumor. And it's been very frustrating as a 40k content creator, especially when it's other content creators perpetuating the misinformation that's already been debunked. And I get why these newer content creators don't know this shit, but it is genuinely getting frustrating. So, first off, let's talk 3D printing, because this has never, ever been a contentious issue that I've had to deal with and gotten death threats over. So, a lot of people are really mad that GW policed 3D printing. We see constant rumors of, oh, GW's afraid that 3D printing will put them out of business. No, it's not. They have literally done financial reports and actually looked into it. GW is not afraid of 3D printing. They never have been. Now, I want to make it very clear. 3D printing is great. If you have the resources, the space, and everything to do it, do it. If you are playing for fun games of 40K with custom-made 3D printed models, fucking do it. Please, for the love of God, have fun with your hobby. But there's a massive misconception here that GW is just willy-nilly striking people down. That's not what they're doing. Back then, that's exactly what they did. But it's become a much more precise response. And I'm not claiming that it's 100% accurate. I never will. They will fuck up. And they should be called on when they fuck up. But a lot more recently is that GW has taken down 3D printing sites that were very popular. But there's very good reason for it, especially when you look into why. Chat, this involves copyright, and I've had to have this painfully explained to me both in the UK version and the American version and the Canadian version. Copyright is not the same thing around the world. Get that through your head. When it comes to copyright, GW follows the UK form of copyright. I.e., you don't enforce your copyright, you fucking lose it. That is how it's been explained to me. That is how it has continued to be explained to me, and that's how I continued to fucking read it. And a lot of these 3D printing sites, I'm gonna make it very, very clear, don't ever blatantly post GW shit and then try to sell it for a profit, claiming it's your own. Because that's most of the sites that are getting hit. And GW is UK. GW is in the UK. Their HQ is in the UK. So, a lot of other 3D printing groups get around GW copyright by not saying it's their copyrighted shit. These aren't Adeptus Astartes helmets. These are sci-fi soldier helmets. These aren't custom models of the Astra Militarum. These are regular space trooper models. Blah, 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 blah. That kind of thing. That's how they get around that. Literally just don't use their fucking names. Hi, first time. Nice to meet you. Kind of a... this is a very talkative stream, I'm sorry. Back in the day, kits weren't nearly as complete as they are now, and we managed. Yeah, and some of the bigger ones that made a big stink about it, when you actually looked into the copyright claims that were happening, man, that's a... Man, you claim that you made that dreadnought yourself? Damn, because when I put them right next to each other, that looks like a Leviathan dreadnought. And you're calling it a Leviathan dreadnought. And you're saying it's your own design. Curious. Then there's, like, ChinaCast, okay? ChinaCast just gets away with everything. It's why when people are like, oh, well, GW's policing. No, they're enforcing their copyright. They have to enforce it. And there already are ways around their enforcement. And again, I'm not saying... I want to make it very clear. I want to make it very fucking clear. Before anyone jumps on my balls like a Goomba, like Mario Goomba stomping somebody, I want to make it very clear. None of these content creators are bad people. None of these people are bad people, I want to assume. They just jump on what is told. And when you're dealing with, like, X amount of people flooding into your fucking comments and telling you the same thing, you're gonna believe it. Even though it's already a debunked topic. Oh, Kayan, thank you for the raid. Jesus. Hey, everybody. Bit of a bit of a more ranty, chatty stream. I'm sorry, but thank you so much, Kane, for raiding. Kane is a fellow content creator / editor friend. They are very closely tied to Mitsuki, so if you can give them a follow, please do. They're wonderful. They're great. But back on topic. Also, Kane, I know if you gotta like raid and run, all power to you. Thank you for entrusting me with your community. But my apologies for ranting. Yeah, because you know some people are just like, oh, I was hoping for funny mole man. I was hoping for the funny mole man. What are you up to? It says in the title. We're talking about like Warhammer 40k stuff, like within the community and within like the franchise and such. But yeah, GW has to enforce their copyright at the end of the day, and most content creators really don't understand copyright law. Even I have a hard time wrapping my brain around it, because copyright law is intentionally written to be a nightmare to get through. And sometimes GW gets it right, sometimes they get it wrong. They're a corporation. I'm not defending them, I'm explaining. Does that make me an apologist? It kind of does. But it's a situation where I went out of my way to understand something, so that way I understand why it happens. And I can't get mad at anybody for not knowing. Idiotic, I already just explained this. It's not their policing, it's that they have to enforce it or they lose copyright. It's a whole thing. And I want people to understand this as best I can. At least if one person listens, then that means I've succeeded at something, right? And again, I don't want any shade thrown to content creators that are blatantly like spouting this off, because I don't know where they learned that and if they truly believe it. Or if they're literally just like, oh, this is what I've been told. And trust me, guys, knowing how busy my friends are in real life, multiple people don't have the ability, the skills, or the knowledge to do proper research, to know where to go, to know what to look for, and who to even talk to. I'm very lucky that I have several UK friends that can explain British copyright law to me, along with several business people in my mod chat that know what the fuck they're talking about, because they run businesses. And no, when I'm talking to them, it's not that like they're explaining it like, oh well, the peasantry should just know their fucking place. It's basically just like, no, this is how it works. This is so if X does Y, W has to respond with Z. Yeah, and trust me, GW was already at risk of losing that copyright before. They're never gonna let that happen again. But that's history. All right, Matthew Ward. The old oh boy. Let me find that interview. Give me a moment. All right, I found it. So for those that don't know, Matthew Ward was a prolific writer for GW back in the day. He helped make the foundation of Warhammer as we know it. He is infamous among the Warhammer community for being the face of 5th edition, for being the Necron Codex, the Blood Angels Codex, the Grey Knights Codex, the Blood Angels Codex, and the Space Marines Codex along with Necron. Sorry, I need to, say that properly. So then, this interview happened. This interview here happened. If you can, please go check out Moot's video about it. It's an hour long, so I understand if, you can't, because I know, your attention span's been murdered by, fucking TikTok-style videos. I apologize for that. But basically, for the longest time, everyone thought that 5th edition, at least for those codexes and the rulebook, was written by Matthew Ward, and that Matthew Ward is the reason we had the Ultramarines being the greatest things in the planet, in Caldo Drago, the greatest Grey Knight. That's not what happened. So, when they are writing these books, when they are writing the fluff of Warhammer 40k, GW, the higher-ups, come on down to the writers and game designers and say, we want the brand to go in this direction. We want this faction to be the face of this edition and this thing. Make it happen. And originally, fun fact, Matthew Ward doesn't really care about the Ultramarines that much. That actually went to, what's his face there? Graham McNeil. Graham McNeil was the big Ultramarines fanboy among the writers at GW. If he was going to be the guy to wank, if you were going to have a guy wank out the Ultramarines, it was Graham McNeil, not Matthew Ward. Matthew Ward worked on a team, worked on the 5th edition with a team. So it wasn't just him writing that book, it was everyone else writing that book based on an outline the higher-ups gave them. But Matthew Ward's the name on the cover, so who do you think people are going to blame? Where do you think the Cato Sicarius meme comes from? Now, I don't blame anyone for not seeing that interview. If you saw that person's channel, they only have 7.1k subscribers. But Matthew Ward is constantly blamed for how the Ultramarines were back in the day. But, again, nothing exists in a vacuum. Nothing exists in a vacuum. And the problem here is that we don't learn this shit till years later. So trying to, pull people out of the muck of blaming one guy for the problems of 5th edition storytelling is really hard. It's extremely frustrating. And by the way, I was guilty of this too. And it wasn't until I was called out, on TikTok, mind you, by somebody who's basically said, that's wrong. And I went, what do you mean that's wrong? They linked the video to me, and I watched that full hour, and I went, oh, fuck. And then I looked up a little bit more about it, and I went, oh, fuck, I was wrong. And I explained the dust in my vacuum cleaner. Well, it sounds like you have had a run-in with Thousand Suns. Dracoria. Yeah, that's basically it. They hired Matthew Ward and a few writers to basically be like, we want this and this for this. So, that's been entirely debunked, but trying to get people to understand that is like pulling teeth. It's extremely frustrating, especially when it comes to a lot of newcomers to 40k. Because they hear that, and then they learn about the demon that is Matthew Ward, when in reality it's, hey, 5th edition wasn't as great as we remember it to be. And you gotta remember that Ultramarines were already being made the poster boys of 40k at the start of 4th edition, not the start of 5th. Alright. Let's talk about Warhammer's story and consistency and everything else. Along with Yarick returning and the Steel Legion, along with Death Korps of Krieg and all that kind of stuff. Let's start with Death Korps of Krieg and Steel Legion. So, understandably, GW does not want to redo the Steel Legion line. The reason being is that the original model designers of back in the day designed the Steel Legion after the SS, the really bad Nazi guys, the really bad ones, and those two designed it as like basically like a hee watch them get murdered kind of a thing. Like, haha, look at these guys, fucking pathetic losers they are. Because they like taking the piss out of people, right? Especially like that losing side of World War II. The problem was that the models didn't come out the way they wanted them to, and the symbol that they had was just straight up the SS symbol. Which was a yikes moment. Very yikes. Sorry to interrupt, but couldn't they just redesign them? Technically, they are Afrika Korps, not SS. Yeah, but the point remains. They're from the losing side of World War II. So there's a very good reason why GW does not want to reprint the models. And redesigning them could work, but then you still have that stigma, right? You still have that stench in the back room. Then insert Death Korps of Krieg. Death Korps of Krieg used to be an alternative color scheme to Steel Legion. And then now they are released. Now they did a little paint tutorial on how to paint your Death Korps of Krieg as Steel Legion. Because it's just easier to use the same gas mask models. Because they do have origins in one another, so it's kind of like tongue-in-cheek. Am I mad about it? I'm more mad about the Imperial Guard army in general, just like with the... I explained it in the army codexes thing that I did, where it's like, why don't you just let the infantry platoon be an infantry platoon again, instead of like Kriegers, Cadians, and Catachan? Make it more generic instead of like... Because no one plays Kriegers to play Kriegers. People play Cadians because they have sticky, and no one plays Kriegers because the Krieger ability is dog shit. Also, GW probably doesn't want two distinct gas mask guard ranges. Yep, that's probably another reason. It's also expensive to make prints and molds, guys. Especially with the current problems going on in the world right now. Yeah, but idiotic synergy, you gotta remember, real-world events are going on, especially when it comes to oil, and we use oil and gas to make a lot of stuff. Like plastic. So it's not a very good idea to, like... It's not a good idea right now. And then, on top of that, you don't want redundancies in a product line. We have Cadians, we have Catachans, that desperately need a model refresh, and we have Krieg, which is gas masks. But then, as well, you need to remember that the Imperial Guard are designed in such a way that you can take your Necromunda models, you can take your AOS models, basically you can take any models that are basically just standard human and run them in a Guard army. You do not have to run them as Cadians, as Kriegers, as... Catachan. Design bloat is a thing. Yeah, you remember that thing we all bitch about the Space Marines getting? Now you want that for Guard? Could always go back to pewter minis. God, no! Please, God, no. have a general question. What am I not allowed to do with my stories? I know not to talk about Lost Legions or change Primarchs or not to change... Hero Panda, everything is true and nothing is true. Do whatever the fuck you want with your chapter. If you want to keep to the consistency of 40k, I got some news, buddy. So people go on and scream at the top of their lungs that 40k's never been consistent. It doesn't have consistent storytelling or writing. They told you this from the start. They have told you this from the start. Warhammer 40k is an unreliable narrator universe. Everyone, outside of, like, books from person's perspective, is an unreliable narrator. Warhammer 40k has been very consistent in that way. It does have consistent writing. It's just cheating and you don't like it. The moment that you come to accept that 40k just doesn't have consistent writing, because that's how they've built up the universe, the more happy you have and the more fun you have with it. Because remember, this isn't an anime, this isn't a manga with a consistent plot. This isn't a video game with a 3-arc trilogy that ends up disappointing you in number 3. This isn't a book series that goes on for X amount of time, even though we did have that. 40k is a tabletop game that sells plastic toy soldiers, and they will do everything they can to facilitate the sale of those models. I don't give a shit about your consistency. I give a shit about selling you plastic crack. Sorry about that, I was replying to somebody. The main idea is that they do not give a shit. They will tell whatever interesting stories or sell whatever models they can to get you to buy them. The Rogal Dorn has always existed. Centurions have always existed. It's always been inconsistent. You can't get mad at them for that. They told you that from the start. Like, they told you that from the start. It's not their fault if you didn't listen. Now, is there 40k canon? Yes, there is canon to 40k. But that canon is subject to change at the whim of GW. Because it's their fucking franchise. You don't have to like everything out of it. Do you think I like every Space Marine book that comes out? No, I've been very hypercritical of the animations just being bolter porn. You think I enjoy everything about it? No. But I'm not going to sit here and complain when the story isn't consistent. When they told you, if you came for consistency, you're going to be in a very rough spot. Because again, you got to remember when it comes to this writing, we're always trying to get you to the tabletop game, because that's where the main money is. That's where the money maker is, buddy. And could they be doing it better? Yeah, they could be doing it way better. Take some lessons from Gunpla for a second. 40k 40k canon is so fixable that I saw teaching a yoga class. I want to make it very known here that you gotta remember that GW is a company with teams of writers, with teams of designers, with teams of animators and everything. One group is told to make an overarching narrative. 500 Worlds, overarching narrative, go. Another team is told to write stories, and another team is told to make a game within that overarching narrative. Go, do it. Write animations for that overarching narrative, so on and so forth. Is it all going to be consistent? No. A las gun is never going to fire the same way to one person. Fuck's sakes, you look at Space Marine 2 and how they fire las guns, and you look at Dark Tide and how they fire las guns, not even consistent. I'm still waiting on proper novelization or animation of Gilliman's return. Come on, GW. Plague War Trilogy. There you go. Have fun with Plague War. That is the novelization. You're welcome, Dreggy. An outdated codec. Gathering Storm, it was a... Chat, I'm going to show you something. It's not outdated because it's still the canon. Alright. Alright, okay. I'm going to show you guys something, because I know a lot of you don't see everything. This is the Warhammer Vault. This has all the stories that are still canon and all those old stuff that got retconned or is sitting in a limbo of are you canon or are you not canon. This is the official GW Vault. You want to find anything here? Find it here. Most things, at least. They haven't updated it a bit. But Gathering Storm was added in 2021. This story is still canon. It's not outdated. It hasn't been changed. The narrative events of Gathering Storm are still the precipice of how GW moved us from 7th to 8th edition. It is not outdated. This is basically now just leftover history for the 40k universe. It has everything. Well, not the missions and such in it, because they, for some reason, don't let you see the missions in here, because that's dumb. They totally should. They totally should have let you see the missions in here. But, yeah, it's got everything. And this story has not been contradicted yet. Keyword being yet. Because GW can always go back to it and say, this didn't happen, this happened. But they haven't done that yet. So, until they do, this is still the canon. Now, just a heads up before you go, oh, well, I should go look at that. It is going to ask you for a Warhammer Plus subscription. That is up to you. You know your finances better than I do, and you need to consider, is it worth it if you're interested in deep diving? You need to look at that and consider, is it worth it or not? Do not just get a subscription to a thing, read it, and then forget about the subscription. That's how you lose money. That's one unit that feels like it fits with Alpha Legion 40k. Raiders kind of fit what I think about. After the fall of Cadia, originally it was like 200 years later. Now it was like 20 or 30. It was a decade. It's a decade. They do say it in the book. I do know that. then I'm just going to enjoy the story and make it in my head while also not burning a bigger hole in my wallet. Thank you for the funny old man Lehman Russ accent. You're welcome. Like, again, I use Warhammer Vault because I'm a Warhammer content creator. This is really helpful to my job. But if I'm a regular old casual fan of Warhammer, Warhammer Vault literally would not appeal to you. It's not good for you if you're just a casual. But if you're a veteran or somebody like that makes content for 40k, this is perfect. The main Space Marine chapter, that was their version of jury system that you put you and your entire planet on a trial, something like a cult of chaos being around the world. You could do that. Also just want more units in the game that use shotguns. Shotguns create a specific... Voidsmen, Space Marine Scouts, Death Watch, Tau Empire use shotguns. It's their breacher team. Is the Warhammer Vault 40k only, or is it epochs like AOS and Classic? Well, let me show you. Look, there's AOS. Ooh, we got fantasy over here. We got some fantasy right there. We keep scrolling. We got Lord of the Rings. We keep scrolling down. We can see more fantasy, more Lord of the Rings, more and more stuff. Ooh, ooh! And look, we got the Broken Realms from AOS. Ooh, look at that! Looks like they got some fantasy and AOS stuff. Look at that. Put that in your binder. And yes, they do have like the end times as well. Then we also have God Beast. Well, the Realm Gate Wars, Painting Guide, Warhammer Underworlds. Right, look, we got stuff. We got stuff. What do you think? What would have happened? What would have done if the Astro Claws had won the Badab War? They wouldn't have won the Badab War. It was literally impossible. I never got an answer to, does 40k have music in the universe, not counting ominous chanting and sororitas organs? They do have music. There are multiple times where characters are like visiting a bar or cafe, or just wandering the streets and they hear music being played. They have guitars, they have banjos, they have other unique instruments. In Horus Rising, there's a band for the Interrex that are playing for them. They use music to communicate. There is music in the Warhammer universe. So, all right. But yeah, 40k has consistent storytelling because they told you from the get-go it's going to be inconsistent. There is consistency with the inconsistency. I know that's really hard for a lot of people to wrap their brains around. And they're like, that's just a cop-out. And I respond with, yes. But you still buy and play it, don't you? So it worked. If Gilliman somehow... I don't want to answer what if he came to our world, because it would just be worse. Can the Custodians ever be influenced by the Warp, and was there a time they were? Yes, they can be influenced by the Warp. It happened in Siege of Terra, Book 1. Sorry. It happened in Siege of Terra, The End and the Death, Part 1. A group of Custodians teleported aboard the Horus's flagship along with the Emperor, and the Warp power there was so strong it drove them insane, and they tried to kill their Emperor. What do you think about the possibility of the Steel Legion being discontinued? They already were. I already talked about this. They're just gonna do Steel Legion as Kriegers because it's easier. They don't have redundancy with gas mask models, and they already were the same thing anyway back in the day. Any idea when I might be seeing a reprint of Siege of Terra book since they are reprinting the Horus Heresy books? They're reprinting the best sold Horus Heresy books. They're reprinting the best sold ones. GW doesn't really like reprinting stuff unless they know it'll make a profit. Jagatai would definitely be into music festivals. Oh, of course he would be. Gilliman in the second millennium would be wild. He'd see us as we were. Guys, Gilliman's not a good person. Let's make this very clear. He would conquer our planet. Let's just make that clear. And no, it would not be better than what we have now. Because he looked at the Imperium and said, "Ah, this is neat." That's fair. I was just wondering what he'd do if he didn't have to put human society together. Thank you just for the confirmation. I just wanted to make sure that he was right. That it was right. You're welcome. If Gilliman comes to our world, we have a world leader. If there's still Thunder Warriors still around in Warhammer 40k, or are they completely extinct? Completely extinct. As far as we know, they're completely extinct. But I can't imagine him doing anything but that in the 40k verse. I saw this question once before, and I want your take. I don't... What? What question? I bet Steel Legion might get an upgrade spur, or maybe Armageddon Orc Hunters as a kill team. Maybe. The trains might actually run on time. That's about it. Gilliman is an authoritarian dictator. True. If a full Catan returned, do you think the current Necrons would try to team up with or stop their civil war for a moment? Or try to contact the Imperium for help? Why would they ask inferiors for help? Why would they ask inferiors for help? They would just throw Catan shards at the Catan. What would the modern 40k look like if the Emperor died, stealing the Void Dragon and Mars? Then the Imperium wouldn't exist. If you could wish a guard regiment to be plastic made, what was your choice? Mordians or Tallarn? Tallarn, sorry. So we trade one blonde balding dictator for another blonde but balding dictator? Trazin might have one or randomly have one for the lulz. Is the Emperor alive because they collectively leave him to be alive? No. Fuck. Orc logic only affects orcs. It does not affect anyone else. I don't know what the Marauder armor looks like from StarCraft. I'm sorry. I would find it... Jesus. What characters in Space Marine 2? What character development in Space Marine 2? You mean the rushed... Oh, we're just going to resolve this in a single conversation? That's not character development. That's just trying to speed the plot along. What is your favorite gun that little anyone else understand? I don't know what you're asking. If orc logic only applies to orcs, why said Saint Celestine? Genuine question. Because fucking Sisters of Battle are bullshit, and their power of manipulating the warp is basically the same as orc law energy. It's just faith energy at that point. I don't know. It's poorly explained. Here's a thought experiment. What if Vulcan and Salamanders suddenly came back with a child that is part alien? He'd burn the child. Because Vulcan is a human supremacist prick. Good morning, Krusty Krab. Would things have been better or worse for Magnus had he beat Leman Russ? He'd still fall to Tzeentch. We just wouldn't have Russ. The only Gravis models I like are the Inceptors. All the others can fucking do one. Jesus. Do we know about what Dark Star material is, or just that it somehow just kills everything it touches? What the fuck is Dark Star material? Ugh. Oh, Dark Star weapons from the Leagues of Votann. Right, I saw this and I didn't mention it in the need to know video because it wasn't need to know information. Dark Star material is Dark Star material. That's all we know about it. It's stuff that the Leagues of Votann mine, and they turn into weapons. Touching it is enough to kill you. So don't touch it. Is there any bestiary book that catalogs the various creatures of the universe? We had one, but it was an Inquisition book, and it was very unreliable. And a lot of the stuff in that book is extremely outdated. Your best bet for a bestiary is literally buy a codex for that faction. Maybe I should clarify. I mean the one part alien child is like Vulcan's son or daughter. We don't even know if the Primarchs can have kids. Why are you asking me this? Also, you assume he would have sex with an alien? He's a human supremacist. But what if I want to touch it? Then Mournhammer, I can't stop you. Do you think 11th edition will double down on bringing in Space Marine to a video game crowd? Yes. I mean, like, as a businessman, I would. 5 million more mouths to bring in? Fuck yes. Were Primarchs coming back a good or bad thing? It's perspective. I think it's fine, but I've seen plenty of people not like it. My opinion is, what does it fundamentally change? Everything still sucks. Would Jagatai be considered a good guy to you? I don't know. Can Genghis Khan be considered a good guy? Mathstone, no. That did not happen. The leaked story, as far as we know, is that the orcs actually did kill Yarrick, but the Space Wolves grabbed him, threw him in stasis, and then healed him up over time. That's the leaked story. The orcs' power of belief does not affect anyone but them. Stop with the meme. The meme is annoying and it's boring. I'm an orc player, and I'm very annoyed. It's... Oh, my God. No... That's the point. 40K doesn't have good guys. They have interesting people. You have people that you root for because you find them interesting. I just want a plastic Trazen. Same. Oh, Intense Pickle, you sweet summer child. Innovate... Good guys do not walk up to other people's civilizations and say, join or die. Jagatai is just the one that understands the situation better than his brothers do. He still will murder your ass. He's not good. No, the Ultramarines don't get away with their fucking shenanigans because they're lucky. They get away with their shenanigans because they got plot armor. Guys, if orc power belief actually worked, I'm going to take this meme to its very logical extreme. Why are the orcs losing, and why is the galaxy not entirely orcs? They believe they're the best. They believe they always win. Meme ruined. I've ruined your meme. Do I think 40K will ever have an ending? Is GW bankrupt? Does Star Wars have an ending? Does Star Trek have an ending? I know I'll end one day. I don't have an opinion on your thought experiment. I'm sorry. I do understand. I do appreciate you trying to bring a positive vibe. I do appreciate that. The best thing a Primarch can do to you is being apathetic to you. God forbid a Primarch look my way. How's that going? Oh, I need to get on that. I need to get on and painting my fucking army. Mathsto, you need to stop listening to memes and actually read Orc Fluff. I'm sorry. But the memes don't work here. What is your favorite Orc character? Gazgul, because he's fun. I got a fucking rock concert. Are there any stories about the Ghoul Stars or events that happened there? There are stories, I just don't remember which ones. What Primarchs do we know that are still alive? We know that the Demon Primarchs are still alive. So, Mortarion, Magnus, Fulgrim, Angron, Perturabo, Lorgar, and one of the twins is still alive. One of the twins. For Loyalists, the current ones missing still are Leman Russ, Korax, Jagatai Khan, Vulcan, and Dorn. With Gilliman and Lionel being the only ones that are still currently kicking around. I just read a fanfic if they want stuff that isn't canon respectful. What is canon respect? I just... ugh. Alright. I want to make something very clear here. Memes are meant to be funny. Memes are not canon. And 40K's had a lot of old memes, and a lot of people seem to misunderstand what that meme actually is. And as an orc player, as someone who has, like, studied orcs and, like, I started to try and learn how to write in their language because I was that much of a fanboy back in the day. The orc WoW field only affects them. It does not affect anyone else. That story of the I'm a tank, I'm a tank, I'm a tank, I'm a tank, that's bullshit, and that was made up for a fucking only war campaign. Because it was funny in the moment.
One debt to society later.
Good morning, Krusty
Even me hope again. Aw, I'm glad. Yeah, and I understand. I'm not frustrated at you. I'm frustrated at the old joke, right? I need to make this very clear. I'm not frustrated at people that say the memes. I'm frustrated at the meme. Because the meme is old, it's boring, and we need to find better memes. The Halo stars go into the Nachman Gauntlet. I don't mean to spam, but did you see what I said? I didn't. My guy. There is so much going on. And I said Gazgul. Go meta on him. If you want a meme, just draw me dead in a fucking booth. My reaction whenever I hear an old Warhammer meme. Don't know TTS. Anyone here knows? Let's see. I see a lot of mistruth about Space Wolves. Oh yeah. But yeah, like I say these things, like I want to debunk this misinformation because like it's out of a need to like, I don't know, like some people will say like, oh, you're just trying to like be nitpicky and overcorrect, and I'm like, probably, but at the same time, there's a lot of misinformation that I don't want anyone feeling stupid. I don't want people feeling like they're fucking idiots. Because a lot of people, they say these things, and then when they look fucking stupid, it makes them feel awful, and then they don't want to interact with it anymore. And I don't want them to feel dumb. And because I know what it's like to feel fucking stupid. I know what it's like to feel like when you get something wrong. It's not a good feeling. Especially if you being wrong actually has consequences. Like, I saw a ton of people support a 3D printing bro who said that GW was attacking him unfairly, only to learn that that guy is a scam artist piece of shit who scammed a lot of people out of their money. And they looked fucking stupid for defending him. And again, like most people that are getting into Warhammer, they don't know where to go or what information to look at. Because again, 40K is such a massive franchise with not so easily accessible books. Fucking the two most recent campaigns, well, campaign and then, hey, here's an update to the universe, at least like we're talking about the Maelstrom now. Both the Maelstrom, Lair of the Tyrant, and 500 Worlds ran me both together like $200 for like 6 books. 6 books. I could have bought in a one-piece collection box for $200. It's not easy keeping up with stuff, so I fully get it. I get it better than anybody. One thing I run into a lot in 40K is 40K fans getting angry at me for liking things they consider to be bad lore-wise. I don't like the Salamanders books in the Horus Heresy, but I know plenty of people that do, and more power to them. They see something, they see a diamond where I don't. Ironically, the One Piece box will also have bad pirates! The canon material is getting excessive and expensive. No, it's not getting excessive. So this comes back down to how GW's marketing approach is to this. You are responsible for your own money. You do not have to pay attention to everything going on in a narrative. Literally, it's why they only print some stories with some factions in it. If your faction's in that campaign, you might be interested in it. Arcs of Omen, for example, focused on Chaos Space Marines, World Eaters, Tau Empire, and Dark Angels. But in the books, they did say your faction's in this book if you want to play boarding action. Otherwise, here comes Codex World Eaters, and here comes a model refresh for Farsight and the Dark Angels. Have fun. That's it. Any recs for good factual ones? Okay, Dracoria. I will do this for you. I will do this for you. We will go over what I recommend as good lore channels. Well, fluff channels. I'm gonna get them up here quick. All right. First, my personal favorite, Arbiter Ian. He is an old head of Warhammer. He's been here since like 2nd edition. And he's done tons of videos talking about the fluff of Warhammer, the history of it, and talks about like how the game has changed and all that kind of stuff. His entire modus operandi is basically just, you know, going over the history of it. It's good for that shit. Next up, Adeptus Ridiculous. Adeptus Ridiculous is perfect if you just want to listen to stuff. You want to listen to some people shoot the shit, hang out, and talk. There's Bricky, Chai, and DK, and they brought in Kirioth and Possum, who I've gotten to have conversations with in Gremlin May's server. Genuinely wonderful person. Possum, hi! Genuinely you are wonderful, and genuinely, like, very funny lad. Very funny lad. If you don't know who Possum is, that's the person they forced to read the bad books. Next up is Froggy PhD. This is a new friend of mine. In fact, the recent announcement was actually about them because I was watching their stream and someone asked me a question on their stream. And I felt really bad, and I just need to make it clear. Please don't ask me questions on other people's streams. Please focus on the stream itself. Don't ask me questions about my content, about my stuff on other people's streams. Please and thank you. Next up is Gremlin May. They are brand new to Warhammer 40k as well, so you can go on a journey with her. I'm in both her and Froggy's servers, and Gremlin May is just very nice person, very chill person. Very gremlin, very, very goblin energy. Last but not least is Oculus Imperia. If you ever want to, like, LARP and feel like you are actually in the Warhammer universe, that is what Oculus Imperia is all about. Oh, we also have 40k Theories and Snipe and Whip. Shit, I completely forgot about them. Might be. 40k Theories and Snipe and Whip are also very, very good. I've had conversations with Remlays. He is a very wonderful person. Very much love him. Great, great lad. Funny lad, too. But Oculus Imperia is also a very good lad. If you ever want just, like, to feel like you're in the 40k universe, he flavors his videos to be like a scribe going over the events described in the books. Those are the ones that I recommend. Why is that mole headbutting so squishy? Cause it's a cartoon mole? No, Chaos fights demons all the time. Do you have a favorite Catan? I do not. If you could redeem one and condemn one, if you could redeem one Primarch and condemn one Primarch, who do you think would be the most interesting? I would condemn Ferrus Manus because then we'd actually get a character from him, and I'd redeem fucking Magnus. I've stated this multiple times, but I know I'm gonna have to keep doing it. Oh, Yami, I'm not saying GW isn't fucking expensive. I will never not say that's fucking expensive. Jesus Christ. I will never not say it's not expensive. I tell people, do not get into Warhammer if you are literally week to week. Like, let's go to my fucking favorite army of all time, Thousand Suns. Wait, let's look at those prices quick, shall we? Let's look at these prices quick. Fucking hell, dude. I will never not say 40K is fucking expensive. $57 for a single model? You kidding me? 107? No. $63 for 2? Are you kidding me? I will never not say GW is not fucking expensive. I will never not say that. It is expensive. I am never gonna lie about how expensive fucking Warhammer is. That's a meme that's eternal and will never fucking die. What is the most depressing story inside of 40K? I don't fucking know. That's up to your opinion. But yeah, like, Alright, let's talk about the Yarg thing quick. So, apparently, from what I was told, and from what I researched, there was a leak about 11th edition about Yarg's survival. The leak goes on to say that the Black Templars abandoned Yarg, and he got crumped by orcs. How he survived is because the Space Wolves found him, threw him in the icebox, healed him up, and basically kept him on ice for like two editions. And then he came back. He's coming back at the end of 10th. Because he went with them to Armageddon during the 4th War. Do you have an opinion on Trench Crusade? No, I do not. I know Farva wants to talk about it, but I just haven't worked out a time schedule for him to do a PowerPoint on it. Have I seen what the Marauder armor looks like? No, I haven't, but I'll look it up because I'm at my computer. I also don't support StarCraft because fuck Blizzard and fuck Activision. Cool. Do you have a Discord server? Yes, there is a way to join from Twitch. I just don't remember how. But there is a way to join it from my Patreon. Artist, there is a place in my Discord server talking about your chapter. My Twitch chat is not one of them. I've seen your question. It's just everything keeps getting... But yeah, I say fuck Activision and fuck Blizzard because goddamn they're shitty companies. Quiet me. Also, I was supposed to stream with Mitsuki Wizard today, but like something happened with them and like they were late and I feel bad. We were supposed to stream together today, but I think she just had like something happen in her personal life and I just feel bad. But in my opinion, Wizards of the Coast is worse. It's not Wizards of the Coast, it's fucking Hasbro. It's not Wizards of the Coast, it's fucking Hasbro. Who owns Wizards of the Coast? Hasbro. Blame Hasbro. Gotta look. You gotta. Again, that's blaming a symptom, not the overall problem. Bro, they should just stop drinking poopy water. Why is the water poopy? Maybe we should look into why the water's poopy. What the fuck does China have to do with Blizzard being a shit company? What does that have to do with Blizzard hiding fucking sex offenders and pedophiles? And Activision also doing the same thing. What's the newest from the lore books that has you excited? Well, I gush about it in the script that I wrote for Lair of the Tyrant. Getting to learn about the Maelstrom Zone was awesome. A sector of space we didn't get to fucking talk about very much. I wonder if there is a starting point where everything went wrong with the Imperium. The Emperor had an idea. That's where it went wrong. What was the largest army you ever used in Warhammer? I ran an army of 120 orc boys. I have never had a larger army than that. Do you think conscripts could make a return in 11th, seeing as people are... No, I don't see conscripts coming back because conscripts were part of a broken build in Imperial Guard, and there's no way to really balance that out. But they are still playable in fucking modern 40k. They're just in Legends. There's fucking Imperial Guard. They're there. Conscripts, garden scripts. You can still play your old units. You just need to play Legends, which means you're playing open play, not match play. If anybody says, oh, well, you can't play them anymore, tell them to shut the fuck up! Because you still fucking can. Sorry, I'm just like, I'm looking for it. I'm sorry. Praetor, Reaper, Stormblade, Tarantula Battery, Trojan Support Vehicle, Valdor, Voss Pattern Lightning, Vulture Gunship, Carnadoon. Alright, doesn't look like conscripts are playable anymore. But conscripts were just more guardsmen. Unless I just like scrolled way past it, because like there's over fucking 139 pages of this PDF, and I am on stream. Alright, but I'm going to show you guys where you go. So I'm going to show you guys where you go so you can tell people to shut the fuck up. So you go to Warhammer Community over here in the big yellow. There's a downloads. You got all this stuff here. All this stuff here. If you're looking for 40k, you go to Warhammer 40,000. It brings you here. Core rules and key downloads. Faction packs. You want to find your legend sheet, you go in here. Opens up a PDF. You go down to Legends data sheets on page 28. Boom. I never want to hear fucking again that you can't play your old shit. Never again. Never want to hear it. Never want to hear that GW doesn't support your old shit. They do. You just have to be fucking, you know, a little bit patient and go find it. Oh, but they don't have the points. They don't have the points. All of it's in here. All of it's in here. You just go to the Minotaur Field Manual. I never, ever want to hear in my life you can't play the old stuff in 40k ever fucking again. Since when has Tabletop Wargaming become a live service game? Since its fucking inception. Knowing how this works, you'll likely have to hear it again. And I'll say it a million times more! Because proving, like... You're a growing announcer. Soon you're going to have hundreds of watching, judging your mess-ups all at once. Cool. And I'm going to mess up. I'm not perfect, nor do I claim to be. I've been wrong in the past. I've been called out on my streams. You kidding me? I ain't fucking perfect. I'm dumb as shit. I just know what to do and read. Also, another person made a very good point for your custom armies. This has always been a thing. Your Imperial Guard army can literally be anything. Literally, and two examples here. People took the Gene Stealer cult models and just shaved out the Gene Stealer cult bits. We have other people that, like, took fantasy and slapped lasguns on them. You can do the same. So do what you want. But yeah, like, the original plan today was that we were supposed to stream Pokemon Infinite Fusion, but, my friend Mitsuki wasn't having a good day, and I think they slept in, so I didn't want to bug them. I didn't want to bug them about it. I just wanted to let them rest. Wait, what about custom armies? Yeah, you can customize your army however you want. Did you lose any Pokemon or not? Oh, we've lost lots of Pokemon. Fucking Ojama King ran through me. I don't have a Switch 2. I'm broke as shit, dude. I'm broke as shit. You think I can afford a Switch 2? You're funny. Yeah, trust me, I thought about it, and then the wife looked at me and said, we literally do not have the money. But yeah, I want to make it abundantly clear again before I end stream, because like this is a short stream. Because if I was gonna stream with Mitsuki, it would have been way longer. But I want to make this abundantly clear again. There is no shade being thrown at content creators. There is no shade being thrown at people that spread this misinformation, because they too are victims of misinformation. They don't know this shit. They didn't know about how GW copyright works. They don't know about all this stuff. They don't think past that stuff. They don't have the time to research everything. I just have the benefit and very privileged to have very good resources and very good people in my life that can explain this shit to me, that does break it down for me. And I am someone that does go out of his way to try and understand everything when I am told something. I am very much someone that does track it down, where other people don't have that same motivation. They should not be expected to have that same motivation. I am weird. I am a freak. And not everyone has the patience that I do. Or the willingness to go and hunt it down. Or the time to. Does that make them better or worse? No. They are good people. I like to assume so. Or they are people that I know that are good people. They're just... It's a fundamental misunderstanding. Morty and Glory? I have no idea who that is. I don't know who this is. I've never seen him before. I'm sorry. And would I consider collabing? I'm a little weird on collabs. I don't know how to explain it. It's anxiety on my part. I feel weird and awkward when it comes to collabing with like fellows from 40K, because I'm shy. Like, even when it came to, like, Froggy, my brain was just like... I'm shy when it comes to people that are bigger than me or smaller than me, and I just go... And, like, I like, one person has been, like, emailing me and asking me, like, hey, would you be interested in a collab? And I don't know how to say no without coming off like a dick. And I know not saying anything is just as bad. Ah! Cry, cry, cry and scream. Lose your shit. That's me. That's me. This hole is for me! I know it! Yeah, and it was easier to do when I was a lot smaller, because I'm just like, nah, I'm here. But now, like, I've had people ask me questions on other people's streams, and I don't want to take away from them. I really don't. I've been very self-conscious since we've broken 20K, and I don't want people thinking that I'm only hanging out with them for views. I don't want people thinking I'm hanging out with them for, like, gain and shit. That's when the email was sorry they moved. No, I don't want to even joke about it. That's rude. I don't know how to engage, dude. I'm so competent when it comes to, like, real world stuff, but, like, when it comes to online stuff, I'm just like... Gray neither exists or doesn't exist based on my experience so far. Exactly. I wonder how many people got the holes reference. Probably a lot. They probably saw the meme at least. This hole's for me! For real, for real! Because if it's that manga reference... Well, the meme comes from the manga, right? So, like, I guess I'm getting punched whether I like it or not, even though I haven't read that manga. Who is the best in Warhammer? You. You're the best. You're the special child today. Alright, well, I think I've talked about everything I wanted to talk about. I'm gonna go make dinner. I'm gonna make pork chops and with peppers and rice. Any thoughts on Dark Angels and Iron Warriors? Iron Warriors are getting a new model update, so best time to get into them. Thanks for streaming and enjoy your evening. I will try to enjoy my evening. On Twitch, we're gonna go raid into somebody. Let's go raid into Porky Dorky. They are a not safe for work content creator. But they're a friend of mine, so let's go show them some love. They also do Warhammer content. So yeah, let's go raid into her. So for all those on YouTube, please raid into Porky Dorky, PorkyDorkey. I will warn you, they are a not safe for work content creator. It's 18 plus, so get, if you're not 18 plus, what the fuck were you doing here? I swear like a sailor. So you all have a fantastic night, and I hope you all have a good, rest of your week. Bye, everybody.